Right. All right. Welcome back. So the session is going to be completing as per yesterday's things. We had started talking about the arrays and we had seen some different types of arrays to implement. And going further, we will be, you know, making some more implementation going further. So today, let's talk about the array usage. Okay. So let's use like array usage with objects. The first which I'm going to talk as like, okay, arrays of objects in Java. Arrays of objects in Java. So what type of objects that we can actually, make it here and what type of data that we use. So as yesterday said, it's like the primitive data types can be used, right? Primitive data types are something which we generally int, char, string, okay? So those kind of things. So, okay, string is not a primitive though, but Boolean, character, int, long, byte, float, double, all these things are the primitive data types, right? So we will use it as like as an arrays. So before we go forward and before we say something, so we will be talking about the syntax. The syntax is like, okay, so it is like any object type, all right? So object type, all right? Object type and the square brackets, that's the square brackets that resembles that it is an array, and we will have that is array name over here. I'll have array name. Okay, so this is the one type. This is the one type, and of course, we can do in a different way out as well. So array type, and I'll not use the square brackets here, but I'll just use the array name like this. Okay, and sometimes you can use it for reverse way around. Okay, so it is like, okay, so object type, okay, so object type, and can use the square brackets and can say it is like array name like this. So only the array name. Okay, so object type, what I'm using that. Okay, so this is the same syntax, same signature as data type. Okay, so these are the three ways that we represent the arrays, but as of now I'm dealing with the objects, so that's the reason I need to give the object type for that particular. So out of three implementation, we can use any one, and I'll show it to you like how we can actually have this object type of arrays implementation going further. So for this reason, I'll take an example of, okay, I'll take an example of a student data or employee data or something like that. Anyways, I'll take it as like, okay, so student details. All right, so when I talk about the student details, okay, so here I'll consider only the few basic informations of the students. So the basic information for the student is like, generally I'll take it as like, okay, the student's roll number, student roll number, all right, student roll number, and at the same time I'll use the student name. I'll use the student name. So the student roll number is, or student roll number is something like, okay, so it might be your USN and the name that whatever you are. So I'll just take my name as like Sachin. All right. So let's these two informations. Okay, student is the class, but USN and the name is. Okay, so USN and the name is object. So using these two objects, we will be creating an array and we'll make utilization. So for this reason, so we will be like, getting into again Eclipse, and I'll be creating the new class. All right, I'll be creating a new class. Okay, so I hope the topic is clear. The topic is that I am trying to do the object illustration or object demonstration over a array. All right, so what do I do is, okay, so let's create a class. All right, so any name that the name that you are referring to. So as of now, I'll say it has like this is the object arrays. All right, and it has like, okay, so object arrays or arrays of object, you can say, or directly take it as same name. So I'll say that is arrays of, okay, arrays of object or objects. With the main function, I'll create it and click on finish, and the class is ready. And I'll just take off this comment, and now in here, so very first thing, so as I mentioned, like the very first thing is like we need to declare, next is we need to initialize, all right, and next is we need to access. So three way of implementation that we see in terms of arrays. The very first is the, okay, so declaration that it's currently needed, and as of now, so how the declaration that is going to happen. So I'll use it as like, okay, let's use it as like, okay, let's use it as like a student as a student, and this student is an array, and then I'll use it as like, okay, so the array concept like this. Okay, so that's the declaration. So we did it. Okay, so okay, we will do it. All right. So as of now, so we need to declare it. So I have taken it as like student. Okay, so I have not taken any data type over here. Remember that earlier we used to take the data type. Okay, earlier we used to take the data type. So okay, so earlier, how we did yesterday is like, we to say that is, int like this, right? We did it like this yesterday, or we did it like this, or we did it like this in yesterday, or it might be something like this. It might be something like this. All right, or it may be, okay, so yeah, in a Boolean string. Okay, so it can be anything like this. All right, so like this. All right, so as of now, it is coming. It's coming red color, red color, red color, because the name is same. So if I differentiate with the names, then of course, this will be not considered to be any errors, and these are only pure arrays with the help of primitive data types. But what am I doing in? So if you are using this, okay, so here int, okay, string, right, or say it is Boolean and float are primitive data type. Primitive what? Primitive data type. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for object. What I'm looking for? I'm looking for object, right? So I'm looking for object, and this is object representation. Okay, object representation. And one more here is that Java is a programming language which is class and object based. 100% class and object based programming language, but whereas it is not 100% object oriented programming language, but it is based on that. Okay, so it is based on 100% object and class based object place. Okay, so the thing. So now what I wanted, like, I need to create an object. So to create an object, I need to take the values in the class level. So I'll just come back to the class level, and here in the class level, what do I do is I'll create few information. So let me create, okay, what do I need to create? Objects. Okay, create an object. So what type of objects? So in this object, sir, okay, so in this object, sir, whatever the class name that you have, whatever the class name you have, irrespective of the class name, you need to create an object, right? Create an object. Where do we create a, with reference to, okay, so with reference to class name, with reference to class name. So what is the class name, sir? Class name is arrays of objects, right? Arrays of object. All right, but what am I trying to do? I'm trying to do with the student. So that's where it is something different. So what do we do? It is like, we need to take the class object here like that. I've taken a student. Reason why is I'm trying to do with the student information, but what I have taken the class name is array of objects, and it might be something like that. Okay, so if you would have taken the class name as student, you would have taken here as a student reference. So this is how the array is created with the help of object. This is what I'm trying to say, and this is the topic is all about. And now here the student is giving error because the class name is arrays of object. Student class is not created. That's the reason it is giving error. That is a simple, that is a different story. But what am I trying to say is that whenever we create an array with respect to object, the class name should be taken for referencing of that particular array. Okay, so now here I'll just keep it as it is, like array of object, arrays of object. See that all the error has been gone off. All the arrays has been gone off. But for this arrays of object, what do I do is I'll take a two variables. Okay, so one is variable. So that is, okay, so that is what it is, student roll number, is it? I'll take it as like roll number. So always is like, okay, so I'll take it as like a roll. All right, so it is roll number like this. Roll number is equal to, you can pass the values or you don't pass the values, that's up to you. Okay, so as of now, I'll not pass the value, I'll just declare it. And one more thing is that what do you want? We want a name. So what will I do? I'll say that is string, and I'll take it as like name. So these are all the primitive data types. Okay, so let me make it in more visible. So for this reason, since these variables are present at the class level, so I want these variables to be visualized with everywhere in an entire code. In entire code, I want to visualize it. Entire code, I want to access it. So that's the reason we need to add an access specifier that I'll take it as like public. So the moment when we say the public, right? So it is available for everywhere. It is available for everywhere. Not only just the public, sir. Okay, so when you do the public, it is available for everywhere. And likewise, we have a different access specifiers. We can use it as like a private also, and we can use it for a default also, and we can use it a protected also. And every access specifier has its different way of utilizing. But however, when I do the public access specifier, it is ready to be visualized, or it ready to be available in entire complete entire class or entire code will be available to access these two variables. So that's the reason I made it as like public. So once it is done, what do we need to do? So like I need to, okay, so I need to hold the values, right? So I need to, right? I need to hold the value, or hold the values, right? Values like roll number is something like that. Okay, so let's say it is, okay, so it is like 1RE11 IS041. That was my, okay, so okay, CS041. That was my USN number. Okay, so actually, okay, so CS or IS, whatever it is. Okay, so IS041. Okay, that's the USN number that what I was having in engineering. Okay, so now here, this is one value and the name of the student. Okay, so the name of the student. All right, so like this, Sachidanand. So these two information that need to be stored, that need to be hold is nothing but store, right? Hold is nothing but store. So for this reason, we need to create a constructor, create a constructor. Okay, how the constructor can be created? Okay, not to worry, we will talk about more constructors when we deal with object-oriented programming system. But as of now, just the part of this coding, understand the constructor as. Okay, the constructor is a person who keeps or holds the values which are there in the class level variable. All right, so how to create it? Whatever the class name you have it, so you just need to take the same name, same class name, you take it, and constructor is a function, or construction is a method to be set. Okay, constructor is just the method like this. Okay, like this. But only thing is that it will not have any access specifier, and it will not have any return type, and it will not have any method name. But the method name is whatever the name of the class, same name should be taken. So this is a class name should be taken. And now here, now there are two values, right? One is roll number, one is string. So whatever the parameter or whatever the variable that you are taken, you need to pass that as a parameter. So I'll pass it as a roll number and string name as a one more parameter. So once it has been done, so now I need to tell my constructor hold the roll number, hold the string names. For that reason, we will use a keyword. We will use the keyword. Okay, we will use a keyword. That keyword is called this. Okay, so this is a keyword which is used in Java programming, and the moment when you use this keyword, it becomes a constructor. Remember this. Okay, so it is like this, and it will be denoted or referenced with the help of dot operator. So whenever we use the dot operator, then we are ready to implement. And you can see the very first two IntelliSense, okay, very first two reference is that the IntelliSense is always focusing into, and that is actually coming from arrays of object. So the very first what I take it, like, sequentially, the roll number is that I have taken first. So that's the reason I'll take this dot roll number, and I'll assign the same thing to that. Okay, what is it? It is like I'll assign to the roll number, and I'll say that is this dot name is equal to name. That's it. So that's it. So now what I did is, like, I have given a value to the constructor to store the value for, okay, to store the value for roll number, and I have given a reference to store here, okay, to store the value, okay, to store the value for name. All right. So now here, so these objects are created. It is where object is created. So now I need to send the values. Okay, so I need to send the values, I need to send the elements, and that elements will be sent by the main method. Okay, so within a main method, okay, so I have declared it here. This is my array. Okay, so this is my array, and I need to allocate it now. Okay, so I'll just simply take off this. Okay, so I'll take it as like, so object array has been created, correct? Object array has been created, and now here, what do I do is allocate the size. Okay, allocate the memory size. All right, allocate the memory size now. Okay, so what do I do is, like, I'll use whatever it is declared. I'll use the array name, that is ARR. All right, and equals to, and yesterday I have did it as the same thing, that is new student in the previous video, right? Or in the previous session, that what we had discussed is the same. So within this, not the student actually, not the student, but it is arrays of object. That's the class name. Okay, so don't confuse. Don't confuse. I'm writing the student. Reason why is I have explained the same thing, correct? Right. So I have taken a student detail. So student should be class and USN and the student name should be object. But while creating a class, I have created as like array of objects. So in the place of students, we can use arrays of object. And this needed a size. I'll take a 5 again. Okay. So once it is 5 again, so what we need to do? We need to initialize the values, right? Initialize the elements. All right. Initialize the elements to the or initialize the elements of the array. So in order to initialize the array elements, is like, I need to take the array reference. What is the array reference? It is ARR. I'll use the ARR, and for the ARR, 0th index equal to. And now, so how I need to send my values? Okay, so here is like, so in order to initialize, right? In order to initialize the elements to the array. Okay, and this time what we are doing? This time we are referencing to the object. We are referring to the objects, not variables or not data type. All right, it is not a data type, it is object type, correct? So if it is a data type, then we would have directly assigned the values to this. We would have given a value like this, right? We would have given directly value to this, or we would have given what we would have given, that is one. Okay, so something like let's say it's 041, like that. We would have given directly, but we are referencing to the object. So object is framed with the help of class. So I simply need to go to my class name, take the class name, copy this, and come back here and paste it over here. With the class name, sir, I need to pass two information. One is 041 is a roll number and the username. And now here, you just come back here. What is the return type, sir? It is integer. So that's the reason I have taken 041. Chalo, theek hai, that's fine. And what is the return type of name? It is a string. So that's the reason. What do we need to take? We need to take here the string. The string is always in, okay, string is always in double quote. So I'll take it as like double quote. And one more thing, whenever we are assigning the first value to the array object or object with reference to object, we always need to have a new operator. Okay, so two times you will use it. One is for initialization and for accessing the value also, you need to use new operator. So like that, how many times that I need to send? I need to send 5 times, correct? I need to send 5 times, correct? So I'll just simply copy this. This is already one time. This is my item number 1, that is value number 1, correct? This is value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4, value 5, and that's it. All right. So this is value 2, and this is value 3. Okay, and this is value 4, and this is value 5. Okay, so all these 5 values are been given. So how to access, how to display the values? In order to display the values, all right, so like like what's that? We need to access the values, right? Access the values now. Okay, values of array, which is again, so we will use what? It is loop again. We'll use a loop again. So for that reason, I'll say that is for int I equal to 0, start with the 0, and I is less than the length, array length, that is ARR length, correct? And I plus plus. That's it. And into this, you can go back and get this done, like CISO. Within this CISO, like I wanted to tell, okay, I'll change the name. So now you can see 0 is going to be 1, 1 is 2, 3, and this is 4. And now here, so like I would like to check in this way, element at that particular index. So I'll say it is like, okay, so the value at, all right, value at, and I'll say that is plus value at I index, that is value at 0, value at 1, value at 2, value at 3, value at 4, like that. So now once it is done, right, so I need to have this thing. So and what I do is value at plus, and what I do is I'll take some I'll take some values like this, colon and floor base. Okay, so it should be coming in the floor base, and into that what I do is I'll just say that is plus, and for this plus I'll say that is array of I, and you can just bind it with the roll number. Say it is like roll number. There you are. So array of I. So that means array of 0 roll number, array of 1 roll number, array of 2 roll number, array of 3 roll number, array of 4 roll number, like that. So how many times that the loop is going to revolve? That means the complete length, how much the length of array, that much the loop is going to loop over for entire values. So now here I'll say plus, and again I'll take one empty space, and that is concatenated with again array of values now. Okay, that is array of I, and that is dot with the name, the width. Okay, so plus and one more space like this. I'll close the floor base like this. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is how it will, this is how it is just, this is how it is mattered. Okay, save everything and right click on that and click run as. So that is how it is. So everywhere it will come like this. So you can see value of 0. Okay, something had came. I'm sorry. Okay, so I just clicked on somewhere else. You can see 33 section, 33 section, 33 section. Why it is 33? Okay, so what I do is instead of doing like all those things, okay, so what do I do is I'll take it as like 1, and I'll take it as like 2, and I'll take it as like 3, okay, 3, and I'll take it as like 4, and I'll take it as like 5. And now here, so in the place of Sachin, okay, so we can take some other the name, all right. So let's say it is like, okay, Rohit, Rahul, okay, Sarah, and Viren, like this. So there are the 5 different students. Click like this and click OK. And now the value should be there. You can see 1 is Sachin, 2 is Rohit, like that. So the roll number and the name, roll number and the name. So it's a value of 0, value of 1, value of 2, value of 3, value of 4, all this kind of things. Okay. So if you understood, do let me know. If you're not understood, do let me know. So I am here to explain each and everything. And this is one of the way where creating an object and assigning the values. Okay, so this actually makes the array used to most used. Okay, this makes like array implementation in another level. So this is one of the good way of doing the programming, and if you are practicing of doing all these things right, so you can actually manipulate with the object oriented programming system the way better. If any doubts, please ask, guys. Which one?
Is for declaration.
Which declaration, bro?
From the public static void main insert the line number. Line number.
Okay, see, let me tell you, I'll come back once again. See, these are the 3 steps wherever it comes to an array. This is a step number 1. What is step number 1? We need to declare the array. Okay, this is step number 2. We need to initialize the value. Okay, and this is the step number 3. This is step number 3. We need to access. And this is the step number 1. Okay, so this is step number 1, what I've did. Okay, once we declare it, sir, we need to initialize. Okay, so we initialized it. The allocating nothing but, allocating is nothing but it is initialized. This is step number 2. And accessing is here with the for loop. This is step number 3. This is step number 3. Okay, so in order to accessing, right? Okay, so what is the step number 2? How it is utilized? It is utilized with reference to the class which is created. Since it is utilized with reference to the class, that's the reason this approach, that whatever the approach, okay, so this approach is called object of array approach in Java. Understood? Now tell me if anything that you don't understand. Not understood? Or anything you want me to repeat, or how it is? Okay, let me just try to tell in this way. See, for example, you have two boxes. Okay, you have two boxes like this. Okay, so in first box you have your roll number. Okay, and you have your name. Okay, so in this box you have your array created. And what you need to do is, with reference to this array, because, okay, with reference to this array, okay, with reference to this array, you need to display the roll number and display the name of the student. Okay, why it is reference to the array only? You need to display the roll number and the name, because the array has the size of 5. Okay, array only have a size. Okay, roll number doesn't have a size, name doesn't have a size, but roll number itself is a value. Here is a value, here is a place, or here is a memory where it has to be stored. Or it is not a memory, it is a container, it is a storage container, right? There is a storage container. So this roll number has to be stored in the array, and the name has to be stored in the array. So for that reason, with respect to the array, we need to map the roll number, and we need to map the name. So for this reason, okay, so we need to have array to be created, and connecting these two. Okay, so this first box and two box. Okay, this is box number 1 and this is box number 2. Connecting the box number 1 to connecting to the box number 2, or connecting from box number 2 to box number 1, it is two dimensional, either this or this, both the ways possible. Okay, connecting from B1 to B2, or connecting from box number 1 to box 2. Okay, so this approach is called object of array, object of array approach. Object of array approach. All right. So why it is that so? Because this box is belonging to the class. Okay, this box is belonging to the class. All right, but this box is belonging to the main function, where it displays. All right, so this belongs to the main function, this belongs to the class. So class, in order to refer, or in order to connect the class and the main function, we need to create an object in the middle. If we don't create object in the middle, we cannot access the class, we cannot access the main method. That is the beauty of doing this exercise, guys. Now you got the foundation, what happening, where happening, what happening. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here I have a two values that is with reference to the class, and these two values are declaring. Okay, so these two values are actually calling here. This is a roll number 1, this is a name. This is a roll number 2, this is a name. This is a roll number 3, this is a name. This is a roll number 4, this is a name. This is a roll number 5, and this is the name. So these information, which information? These information. This the roll number information, name information are the scope of class, and it is storing with the help of constructor. Okay, so this is a for both the things is the scope of the class, and these information we are calling in the main function. In the main function, we are trying to display with the help of for loop. So for that reason, this is where the object is created. This is where the array is created. Okay, this is where the array is created and declared, and this is where the memory given, and this is where the values are being stored with the help of new operator. And this is how we actually map the class level object to the main level array. Class level object to the main level array. So binding these information or binding this type of programming is called arrays of array. Objects of array binding. All right, that is it. Okay, so not only this thing. Okay, I'll take one more example if you are wanting to check that out. Okay, so I'll create one more class. Let's say it is like employee. Okay, let's create an employee. All right, or employee, yeah, employee details or employees. Okay, employee itself. Okay, so with the main function, I'm creating it. Let's just say finish. Okay, so now coming back to employee, sir, for this employee objects, for this employee objects. All right, for this employee objects, what are the employee objects? Only the values which is purely belong to employee. Please tell me the objects which purely belongs to employee.
Salary.
Mm-hmm.
Salary, sir.
Mm-hmm. You have only thinking of salary only. Employee will have employee ID. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And employee name. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And employee designation. Employee designation.
Employee role. Yes, sir.
Employee. Oh, okay. Fine. Take a designation. Okay. So designation. Okay. Let's use it as like role. That's a good name. That's wonderful. Role. And then say salary. So are these information only belonging to employee?
No, sir.
No. Then where it will belong to? For employee only, we'll say employee ID. No, for employer, it is employer ID.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Employee ID on the. Yes, sir.
It is only belongs to employee class. Yes or no? So for this
Yes,
employee ID, so how do we determine the values? Okay, so how do we represent the values for ID? That is in terms of numbers, right? So if it is in terms of numbers,
sir.
then what would be the data type? Data type is like integer. Yes or no? Okay, so what is the name? So the name, it should be in terms of English letters, right? It is in English words, right? So in English words, whatever the English word is there, so what will we use? The return type is string. And role is, and again it is English, okay, whether it's software engineer, right, or manager or team lead,
Yes,
or developer, or the data developer, Java developer, something like that. So it is in English. Since it is in English, again it is string. Okay, the salary is in terms of numbers. So instead of numbers means, okay, so we will use it as, okay, anyways, I have taken integer over there, and salaries may be in terms of pointed decimal also. So for that reason, what will I do is I'll create a double of this. Okay.
Double.
So these are all the values. Okay, these are all the values. Where they are present? They are present in the class. They are present in the employee class. They are not present in the main function. Correct. So from here, okay, from here, the values will be displayed, right? From here, the values will be displayed. Correct. So in order to make those values available here, okay. So in order to make the values, okay, so the values available here in the main function, available here, we need to make accessible, right? Make accessible. So now to make accessible, we have three ways. To order to make accessible, we have three ways. One is public, next is private, next is protected, and next is default. So these are the four different access specifiers are there. These are the four different access specifiers there. Out of that, if I use the public, right, so that is available for entire piece of code. So what I'm trying to say is that I need a key. I need a key to access. If I have a good key, then I can access into the room or I can access into the home, right? So here the public is the key, right? Public is the key where, like, this is belong to class level, and it will not have access to be done over the main method level. This is something different place and something different place. It is like sitting in my friend's home. I am accessing his laptop. So that means I need to have a remote control, right? I need to have a screen shared. Then I need to get the remote uh, authorities, and then I can utilize it like that. So these informations will not be available to access in the main method. So that's the reason we need to prefer the access specifiers. All right, we need to prefer the access specifier. So as of now, I'll use a public. Okay, so the good part of that, okay, we will use a protected also, but as of now we will use a public right now. Okay, so when it is required to use a private, I'll keep you posted. And then I'll give you the more information about it, and not to worry. So once the moment when I did the public over here, it is ready available. It is ready available to use in the main method, right? It is ready available to use in the main method. So in the main method, so what do we do, sir? So this will be solved with the help of arrays, right? This will be solved with the help of arrays. What is the step number one? Step number one is we need to declare the array. Okay, declare the array. Declare the array is something different. Initialize the different, or define the array is something different. Hope you make that, and hope that you know the differences. Okay, so second one is I'll initialize. Initialize is nothing but we need to define it. Defining is something different. And declaring into something different. Okay, so define the arrays. Okay, define the array. And next, the step number 3 is we need to access the array, right? Access the array like that. Understood? Just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, I'm getting one call. Just a minute. ಹಲೋ. ಹಾ, ಹೇಳೋ. ಯಾಕೆ ದಿನ ಹೊರಗಡೆನೆ ತಿಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೀನು? ಯಾಕೆ 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 ಏನು ಏನು ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗೈತೆ? ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ನಡೀತೈತೆ? ಏತಕ್ ವಾಲಿಬಾಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ನಡೀತೈತೆ? ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ? ಏನೋ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಹಾ, ಓಕೆ, ನೀನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ? ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸು? ಯಾವಾಗಿಂದ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸು? ಹ್ಮ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ನೀನು ಇರ್ತೀಯಾ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಡೀತದೆ? ಹಾ, 4 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ತೀಯಾ ಅಥವಾ 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ತೀಯಾ? 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ತೀಯಾ ಅಥವಾ 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ, ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ತೀಯಾ ನೀನು? 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅವರ್ ಆಡ್ತೀಯಾ? ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅವರೇ ಆಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾ, ಬಾಯ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ. ಏನೋ ಸರಿ, ಏನ್ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ ಇವಾಗ? ಹಾ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ನಾನು ನಿನಗೆ. ಕೋಪ ತರಿಸ್ಬೇಡ ನನ್ನ. ಏನಂತ? ಮತ್ತಿದು ನಂಬರ್ ಅಕ್ಕಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಎಗ್ ರೈಸ್ ಅಕ್ಕಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಇದು. ಹಾ, ಈ ನಂಬರು ಎಗ್ ರೈಸ್ ಅಕ್ಕಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಹಾ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇರೆ? ಇದು ಬೇಕ್ರಿ ಅದ ಅವ್ನು ವಿನಯ್ ಗಾಜಾ. ಅವ್ನು ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನೀನು ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಯಾವ ಲವರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ದ ಅವ್ನು. ಅದು ಬೇಕ್ರಿನ ಇದು? ಹ್ಮ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಪಫ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಎಗ್ ಪಫ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಏನಂತಾರೆ? ಸರಿ ತಗೋ. ಎಷ್ಟು ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ತಿನ್ನೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಚ್ಚ, ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ. ಎಷ್ಟು ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಸರಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ, ತಗೊಂಡು ತಿನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರ, ನಾನು ಫೋನ್ ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದಿದ್ರೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಏನು ಫೋನ್ ನಾನು ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೂ ಚಿಂತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಅಂಕಲಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀನು ತಿನ್ನು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ತಿಂದು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳು ನಾನು ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವಾಗ ನೀನು ನನಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರು. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಆ ಅಂಕಲಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿರು ಏನಂದರೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಕೊಟ್ಟೇ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತನೋ ಒಂದು ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರು. ಸರಿನಾ? ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀನಿ 40 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, ತಿನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿರು. ಇಡಿವಾಗ ಬಾಯ್. Okay, very sorry guys. Okay, that was a little emergencies one. So now going ahead. So now here we need to do what? Okay, so we need to do what? We need to do that. We need to do what? We need to declare the array, define the array. Define is nothing but initialize, and we need to access the values. Okay, so 3 things that we need to do. Okay, three things that we need to do one after the next. But however, please understand that the files are, please understand that the files are in the class level. Okay, they are in the class level, they are not in the main method level. They are not directly the publicly accessed, but they are in the class level, and hence the access specifier public is used to define the same thing. So that's a reason we can be able to access them in the main method. So in the main method again, so we need to declare. How we need to declare? We need to take the class reference. I'll take a class reference. Okay, so I am not declaring. Okay, so here there are the 2 ways of declaring. So 2 ways of declaring. So one is with the help of, okay, one is with the help of data types. The second one is with the help of object types. Okay, so those things we will make it is clear. So when it is come to the data types, right, so we will say that it is int, right? We'll say int, and we'll say ARR open bracket close bracket. This is the data type kind of representation. If it is an object type, then we need to take the class name. So what is the class name? It is employee. I simply copy that, or we can just simply type it as well. All right, so it is employee. Okay, so I'll use it here, that is employee, and ARR will remain same, and open bracket close bracket. So this time I'll take it as like array name. All right, or you can say that is array declaration. So like this. So this is data type declaration, and this is object declaration. Okay, there are the 2 ways around. So, but the concept that we are dealing with object declaration. So that's the reason we do not have any work with this right now. So whenever there is an object declaration, we need to use a class name. And going forward, whenever we need to give the space, or we need to allocate the memory or allocate the space for the array, we need to have somebody to hold the store, hold the values, like hold the values or store the values. All right, store the values. All right, so to store the values, what we need to do? We need to construct a constructor. So constructor is a person who will store the values. All right, so how to do the constructor, sir? Constructor is always, all right, so constructor is is always the name, I mean always as name, okay, as same as, okay, as same as the class name, as the class name. So we just need to understand that one and print this word in your brain. Okay, copy this employee as a class name and I'll take it as like employee like this. Okay, so open bracket close. And one more thing. Okay, so constructor is always as same as class name, and the second property is, okay, constructor is as always same as the class name, and second property is whatever the variable, okay, whatever the variables has taken or whatever the variables has defined the same should go as parameter to the constructor, okay, to the constructor. All right, so to, okay, please understand, to the constructor. Okay, so where it is going to go, it's need to be go to the constructor. Okay, so now here, so what do I do, sir? Employee is the class name, and very important, sir, very important name, very important, and constructor itself is a method. All right, constructor is itself a method. So how do you determine the method, sir? How do you know the method, sir? It would be like, okay, method name, okay, method name, open bracket and open floor braces like this. So if it is in this syntax, it is in this syntax, it will call as like method. And as of now, what is the method name? It is employee. Okay, so then what we need to do now? We need to take open place for place. Okay, next what we need to do? We will need to take floor base. So now the method is ready. Now the method is ready. So what we need to do? So we need to send the parameter as whatever the variables that we have taken. So first thing first, this is int employee ID. I'll take it as like employee ID, first thing, comma, and second is string employee name. So I'll take it as like string employee name like this, and I'll take it like this, and again, comma, and again, string role. Okay, so I'll take the string role like this, okay, like this, and I'll take this, the double salary. So with the help of, with the help of data type as well, we need to take the parameter just like that. Okay, so we need to have a data type reference as well. All right, so once after this, what we need to do, we need to say that is this dot, the first element is employee ID and equals to, and it is employee ID itself. All right, next is this dot, next is what? It is employee name and equals to, it is employee name itself. So we should be very sure whatever the name that will taken here in the constructor, the same name has to be taken when we are assigning the values to that. So we have a role equals to, it is role itself. And next this dot, and we have what? We have salary, and it has to be salary. There your salary equal to salary like this. So the values are been provided now. So now I get the access to store and bind these values. Okay, I'll get the power to bind these values. So in order to bind these values, I need to specify the array information, that is array total size. So for that, again, so as I did earlier, coming back to the same class. Okay, so as I did earlier, what I did, we did like this. Okay, so here ARR is a array name, and this new array object is the object for the class. So the same thing. So let's just go back, and I'll take the array name here. Okay, so what do I do? Okay, initialize the array now with appropriate size. Okay, so once we initialize it, sir. Okay, so once we, so what is like, I'll take this time, like, okay, I'll take, this is employee array. I'll take it as like employee array. So every time ARR is like, making you maybe like confusion something. So this time I have taken different way. So how do we provide it to the object reference? I'll take it as like new and the array information. That is employee. And here I need to specify the values, the size totally. Sorry. Okay, so as same as the previous, like this, as same as the previous. All right, so the array is created, right? Yeah, here. No, I'm sorry. Okay, this one, not employee, sorry. This is the array. Okay, so I need to provide these values into that. But however, there is something in mismatches and happens. So multiple markers at this line. Arrays cannot be, but that's okay, not a problem. So here, this is the declaration, right? So as usual, like this, once the declaration is done, sir, we need to allocate the value for that. Okay, so I'll just take the same thing as at this moment of time. And here, the class name. What is the class name? It is employee. Sorry. Okay. So wait a second. So I think I did a little mistake over here. So just need to have a square bracket for this. Okay. And next here, I'll take an array. So that is like, okay, so that is employee ARR equals to, and I'll use the new, and we just need to use what? We just need to use this array reference, and square bracket and the semicolon, and inside which I'll send the values like this. Okay, so it might be anything. So it may be 5, it may be 6, it may be 7, it may be 8, it may be 9, like that. But what's the problem here? So the same step that I'm trying to do, why am I copy and pasting it? I'd like to make sure that the class name or something like that. All right, so it should be like this. Okay, so ARR equal to name of the okay, class name stored here, not the array here. So it should be like this. It should be like this. Okay, so ARR is not used it, but it says create a variable. Okay, so it's like, ARR like this, because I have to utilize here. So what I'll make it as like, let's say that is employee, that is EMP ARR 1 ARR. Okay, so I'll utilize the same thing, that is EMP ARR like this. So initialize the 5 values now. So I'll send the values now. Okay, so let give the values. Give the values. That is nothing but accessing the values. Okay, that's what I have given in this amount of time. So okay, initialize the elements of an array. Okay, same thing here. Same thing. We are initializing that. Initialize the elements of an array, and in order to initialize the elements of an array, okay, array, this time we need to reference into the object, not the data type. So for that reason, we just use the new operator as like this. Okay, so what it is like, sir? So this is an array which is created. I'll just take it as like, so for the first element, I'll take and I'll say that is new, and here as an employee. That's the class name. Okay, so once the class name is given, that's where the values are. That's where values that I can be processing into. So with the help of new method, we need to pass the values. And I can see, if I just place the mouse cursor here, it will give me a suggestion. What suggestion? It says like, okay, add arguments to match the employee. String, okay, int, string, double, and that's what we have created. So kindly click on that. So it will give an employee ID now. So employee ID is like, I'll say that is 998-456, and employee name is, I'll say it as like Sachin. All right. Sorry, it is not an employee name actually. So it is not an employee. Okay, so first is employee name itself, I guess. All right, so it is Sachin, and this is not an employee name. It is employee role. So I'll say it as like a software developer. All right, it is software developer. Okay, and something, the salary of, let's say, 5,000 rupees. Like that. And one more thing. You might have noticed ID. Okay, so integer is as usual, but whenever it is come as like a string, it has to be represented with the double quotes. It has to be tightly coupled, okay, double quotes into that. So then only it will work. Otherwise, it doesn't. So for the first employee information, add the 0th index. This information is for only the person Sachin. This information is only for the person Sachin. So like that, I can create n number of employee information who are working in other different companies. Okay, so like this. As of now, I'm taking the 5 different employee information, and please understand that there are thousands of people working. Okay, so as of now, okay, so I might be checking this as like, okay, for 5, and this is say 4, and this is say 3, and this is say 2. Okay, so it may be something the other way around. So I'll just make the change again, say as usual. Okay, so it is like Rohit. Okay, so Rahul. Okay, and Saurav. Same thing, the moment before what I have taken. So it is like Viren. Okay, so there might be like, okay, so 6,000, okay, 7,000, okay, 8,000, and the 9,000. So all the different values are been passed now. Okay, how to access these things now? How to access? You know, to access the third last step, access. Okay, so using for loop. So I'll say that is for int I, it starts with a 0, and I is less than employee ARR dot length, right? And I plus plus, and that's it. And what do I do is, I'll just system dot out dot println, and as usual as usual. So okay, so you can provide information as like, okay, so the employee ID, employee name, employee role, and a salary. You can actually convert in that way as well. So what I did last time is like I had used like value at and I. Okay, value at and I, that is a roll number and the name. So but as of now we can actually make use of, okay, so I'll say it here. It's like, okay, so it is like this. So employee ID, so I'll say that is emp id. All right, so colon space, and what do I do is I'll say plus. Okay, I'll say plus, and now at this moment of a time, so we just need to call the employee ID present at this moment of time. Okay, so this one, okay, this one with the help of I index. Okay, so employee ID of I index and plus, and here I'll say that is EMPARR dot. The moment when you say EMPARR dot, okay, so not that way actually, so it just come back in a simple way around. Okay, simple way around. So what we need to do, that is ARR I roll number, like that. Okay, so like that we will say that is ARR, that is employee ARR in the bracket I, and we can say dot, and now we can say it is like employee ID. Okay, employee ID. So like that. So this is again, so I'll go get into the, okay, I'll say that is as like, okay, so if I just right click and if I just run this now, so it will give only the employee ID, right? You can see only the employee ID, employee ID, employee ID. Okay, like that. So what will I do is I'll say plus over here. I'll say plus over here. So I'll just take it here and I'll just take it here and say there is double quote, and I'll say that is employee name, and again plus, and I'll say I and plus, and I'll say that is EMPARR, and I'll say that is I, and you can say dot, and this time I'll say that is employee name, and save it. Right click and run this out. So we will get the employee name now. See, employee name is Sachin, employee name is Rohit, employee name is Rahul, employee name is Sarah, employee. So this time, okay, so you don't want to do it with the I, that's okay, not a problem. Okay, and one more thing. So let's say colon space, and here just take one space in the middle, or you can go into a new line like this also, \n. So let's just say like this. Okay, so wait a minute. So it is giving me, okay, plus is missing. Okay, save it, right click and run as application. There you are. You can see employee ID is Sachin, employee name, like that. So one space is coming, somewhere. One space is coming somewhere. That's okay. Now once again, so what I do is I'll say there is plus, and I'll go to the new line here, \n. All right, I'll go to the \n and I'll say there is plus over here. And now this time employee name is done, and I'll say here that is employee what? Employee, that is role, or we'll say that is designation. See directly designation. All right, colon space, and we'll say that is plus, and that is EMPARR, and with the I reference and dot, and this time I'll go with the role, and again, so plus, and again double quotes, and I'll go to the new line, and again say that is plus, and this time I'll go with not the, okay, like this. Okay, so designation is done, and I'll use this salary. Okay, salary. All right, colon space, and we'll say that is plus, that is EMPARR of I, and we'll say dot salary. Okay, so that's it. Save everything now. Save everything and just go as like run as an application, and you will see all the information at this moment of time. Okay, the different variables. You can see employee ID is this thing, employee name is this thing, designation is this thing, salary is. Okay, and every after that, okay, if you need some lines, okay, so if you need some spaces, a new line as well, so you can add one more new line as well. Okay, after the salary deductions, okay, so sorry, okay, also employee ID. Okay, so that's how it is anyways. Okay, so we can make it in this way, that is new line. Okay, let's try to give it here, that is new line, so dot. Okay, save it. Okay, so out of the for loop, might be that's not make any problem. Okay, yeah. So this new line supposed to be inside the for loop, it will like go with, okay, like this. Okay, inside the for loop, it might can go with the number of time the new line. There you are. So now here, like this. Okay, and here you can just double click and just take a one line like this. So this will differentiate. Right click and run as Java application like this. So this will differentiate like this. Okay, so that's how it is. This is the way, there's a way of practicing the arrays out of objects. Did you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the you know, it's considered to be the development kind of practices. Okay, so this might not considered as programming problem programming problem solving skills, but these are considered to be developing kind of practices. So I request kindly sit at the corner of room and kindly do the practices more and more so that you will understand that how the objects can be created with the help of arrays and everything. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that is it for the day today. So if you have any doubt, please keep me posted. So we will be discussing about this more. Otherwise, we are good to close for the class. Thank you very much for your time and you have a good rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.